Hi, it's Tara Green here. I want to talk about the Pisces new moon on March the 2nd, which is going to be a really powerful new moon. It's at 9:35 a.m. PST. It's at 12:35 a.m. EST, and it's at 5:35 p.m. GMT. So you can see over here, there's the sun and the moon, 12 degrees of Pisces conjunct Jupiter at 14 degrees of Pisces. And those three are in a conjunction, a triple conjunction, we would say, because they're so close together. So Jupiter is the modern ruler, the traditional ruler as well of Pisces, along with Neptune. So Neptune's been in Pisces, of course, since 2011. So this is like a super amped up Pisces energy this year. While Jupiter is traveling through Pisces, it's going to expand all of that Pisces energy. So Pisces is all about spirituality. You know, Pisces has a big heart. Pisces, spirituality, compassion, forgiveness, oneness. It's really an opportunity for the world to come together as one, whatever those causes are. Pisces is also the last sign of the zodiac, so it indicates we're going through endings of a cycle that started 12 years ago. You know, Jupiter was in Pisces, a little appetizer in 2021 there, from the end of May till the end of July, and Jupiter will remain in Pisces for only a little bit more than half the year this year. Okay, it's going to stay in Pisces until May the 10th. But so this very super Pisces, like a stellium of Pisces here energy. So, you know, Pisces has a realm of things that it's connected with. Pisces rules addictions. It rules the unconscious. It rules dreams. It rules visions. It rules false gurus. It rules projection. So projection is something that we all do because really, you know, this is our own movie. We are the producer, the actors, the director, all the scenes, all the people, all that stuff. We are projecting our own soul energy, which is what Pisces represents, the soul returning back to source and the womb, the great cosmic womb. And we project out into others what is the contents of our own unconscious. So Pisces rules the shadows, okay, just like Scorpio does. So in Pisces, we want to take refuge. That's a Buddhist term, take refuge from the harshness of the world. Pisces tends to work behind the scenes. It's what's hidden and mysterious and unconscious, again, and it's karmic, okay? Now in traditional astrology, Pisces, being the 12th sign, is related mainly to death and to endings, like Scorpio is mainly related to death as well. But I feel like, you know, more modern terminology is, you know, it rules oil. So we'll see oil prices going up. Whatever Jupiter expands, it goes up. Okay, so oil, also an abundance of water. Okay, so floods and, you know, hurricanes and things like that are very likely this year. Also over inflation, Neptune rules debt. So Jupiter and Neptune are coming together in April to make a very rare once in 166 year conjunction in April. Okay, at that 22 degrees basically. But so the debt, inflation, you know, all of those things we're seeing in the world already are being amped up by Jupiter and Neptune. So Jupiter, because it's so expansive, you know, it's kind of like exaggerates everything. So fog, you know, Neptune is the fog. I can't see what's going on. I feel lost. Everything's kind of mysterious and kind of hidden and ephemeral, and it's not substantial. And, you know, it is about fake news. I mean, since Neptune entered Pisces, to me, that's like really when the fake news thing kind of happened, you know, and it's going to continue to intensify until Neptune leaves Pisces in 2026. So Jupiter and Neptune, Jupiter is the planet of expansion and optimism, so it's a great time to do spiritual work. It's a great time to meditate, to visualize, to take stock of where you've been, of where you are spiritually. It is a sense of really forgiveness, forgiving the past if you feel really ready and if you've really done the work, you know, clearing out the work, working with your shadows, taking back your projections, you know, all of the, you know, kind of forced opposition that's going on in the world, all the hate going on for the unvaxxed, the vaxxed, you know, all that stuff. Those are just our own projections, you know, onto the others, okay? So this is where we have to look at what is it in me that I'm not accepting? You know, why can't I accept someone who has a different choice or a different viewpoint or a different religion? You know, Pisces rules religion and spirituality. At the essence, we are all one. We all know this. essentially, you know, in our cellular memories. Karmically, we are all one. In fact, we are all just one big hologram of the one, of the all that is. And we're all just different facets of it, right? So Jupiter in Pisces, this full moon, rules Hollywood, rules glamour, rules images, photography. So again, images can be manipulated these days with AI. Again, AI is kind of like, even though it's an Aquarius thing, it's about illusions, delusions. What is real? What isn't? You know, so a deep kind of philosophical, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, which would be the sign of philosophy. Deep philosophical conjecture. Why are we here? What is the purpose of life? My life is going to end. Especially with all of COVID. People worrying about dying. We're all guaranteed to die on some level, on the physical. But we know deep down that our soul never dies. The spirit doesn't die. It just changes shape, changes form, changes sex, changes gender, changes race, can go in any dimension in the world. So it's really about expanding our sense of multidimensionality. So Pisces, this full moon in Pisces, this sense of how lucky we are and gratitude. Jupiter would be about gratitude and really understanding how lucky we are. The Buddhists say, it's incredibly rare to be born in a human body, and the chances are like 1 in trillions. And the fact that you can be conscious and that you feel, the whole purpose of coming into the body is through the feelings, through the emotions. That is the karmic glue that draws us here, and it's love. The emotions is love. So it is all about, as we love ourselves unconditionally, we accept all parts of ourselves conditionally. Water is the universal dissolver of all hardness, right? And letting our feelings flow freely. So, I don't know about you, as an empath, as a psychic, as a light worker, I felt really overwhelmed by the emotions in the world. It hadn't really affected me until really, like, in this kind of way until October this year. A lot of tears, a lot of grief, a lot of crying, a lot of letting go. And that's all part of it too. We need to make space, we need to clear. So honoring our feelings, really, really important now. So Neptune. Yeah, so this can be a time of great confusion in the world, but also a time where people really come together. And one is in the highest expression of Jupiter in Pisces would be that sense of people realizing there is really no difference between any one of us, black, white, red, green, blue, purple, whatever. There is no parties anymore. Those are artificial divisions, so you can't blame one or the other. That just, it's not real. It isn't really real, essentially. I mean, they act differently, but there's no real difference, okay? Now, what else is going on? Of course, the big deal here is Vesta, the goddess of investments, in Capricorn, exactly conjunct to Venus, 26 degrees, conjunct Mars at 27 degrees, conjunct Pluto at 27. So this is like a double conjunction, again, a stellium of planets in Capricorn. Now, this is war, okay? So, this conjunction happened earlier last week, and, we could see what was happening in Canada, of course, with Trudeau, invoking that Emergency Measures Act and coming down really hard on Canadians, those Freedom Convoy truckers who were just innocent people, I believe, at heart, who were asking for freedoms. They just wanted their vax mandates lifted, okay? And then Putin, invading Ukraine. That's Mars-Pluto. It is the hardest, the most difficult, transit. And then there's Venus and Mars coming together. Now, they came together already once at, again, that 26 degrees of Capricorn. They came together on the 16th on a full moon, and they will meet again. Exactly. They're coming together very closely, but they're going to meet again on March the 5th in Pacific Standard Time and March the 6th in Eastern Standard Time at 0 degrees of Aquarius, which is also the point where Jupiter and Saturn met on December 21st, 2020, which was considered to be the ushering in of the age of Aquarius. So to have Venus and Mars again activate that. And it's also very rare for Venus and Mars to come together twice in 1 year. But in the meantime, this is a big, at the one point, a coming together of Venus and Mars, but also, this transformation. And also Vesta rules money and what we invest in. And, Neptune rules debt. They're sextile each other, basically, which is an easy supportive aspect. So, major tumultuousness going on in the world. You know, Pluto, as it gets closer and closer to being in the last degrees of Capricorn, I believe is just going to get stronger in its true nature. You know, Pluto rules the plutocrats, so, you know, Putin would be one, an oligarch, you know, or any, you know, Elon Musk, for better or for worse. You know, all of those oligarchs kind of, you know, acting anger, you know, again, old vendettas, you know, it's Mars-Pluto, it's very scorpionic. And then the south node in Scorpio is at 25 degrees, also exactly sextile, you know, Venus, Mars, Pluto, and Vesta. So again, big kind of money laundering coming out here. You know, Scorpio rules finance, so money laundering. And, you know, again, there's been sanctions on Russia because of this. Cryptocurrencies were seized in this Canadian Emergency Measures Act. I'm not quite sure that they've actually rescinded all of that yet. And so the whole money, you know, it's going to be very tumultuous. You know, death, rebirth, transformation, major transformation here, major letting go of old ways, old obsessions, old ways of thinking things had to be that way. You know, that's Scorpio. Detective work, research, again, sex trafficking and money laundering. Pluto will bring more and more of this out, you know, and it is happening, okay? You may not be seeing it in mainstream news, but it is happening, okay? It's happening behind the scenes. So really, you know, with Jupiter, Neptune, and Pisces, the fake news, which is fact-checked by, you know, you have to watch where the fact-checkers are coming from because they all have an agenda. You know, again, that south node is also trining Neptune. So again, you won't know what's real unless you can really trust your own intuition, you know. And I was talking about this with a friend of mine. I remember when, you know, personal computers came out, and I bought my first computer in 1990. And I laughed because I thought, oh man, you know, the patriarchy, they have to build a machine to communicate, when really the old ways, the witchy ways, the mystical ways, were that we were all telepathic, just like indigenous people are in, you know, Australia, the Maoris, you know, the Aboriginal people. They can track where somebody crossed the desert a year before. They work with their dreams. That's Neptune, that's Jupiter and Pisces. A lot of dream healing going on right now. So really trust your intuition, right? Because that conjunction, or that trine really to the south node in Scorpio, really brings up a lot of past life dreams coming up to be cleared, and just that sense of the shadows to be cleared, right? So this is a very, very intense time. We're seeing the battle. There really is big battles on the world stage, in ways that most people cannot imagine, you know. You know, the plutocrats, the 0.0001%, the, you know, World Economic Forum, which was mentioned in the Canadian Parliament, you know, Trudeau and 50% of his staff. There's a list of all the people who voted for that Emergency Measures Act. They're all working for Klaus Schwab, and you know, their whole thing, Agenda 2030, which you can look. It's on the internet. It's not fake news. It's not conspiracy theories. And you know, Neptune kind of rules conspiracy theories, but conspiracy just means to breathe. And incidentally, we've all been worried about breathing, you know. And then again, South Node in Scorpio, it's about death, and so is Pisces. So really, you know, why are you so afraid to die? You're only afraid to die when you have your ego, you know, that thinks it's going to die, but you don't die. Nobody ever really dies. You die in this specific personality, but the whole purpose of doing deep spiritual work, meditation all the time, being absolutely ruthlessly honest with yourself, that's what the Tibetan Buddhists train in, is so that when you die, you take the consciousness of what you've learned with you, and so you're born awake. You remember, and that gives you the power to not be manipulated or coerced by any outside authority. Okay, so this would be really important to look at this right now. What's authentically true for me? Okay, and grounding, you know, it's very grounding, the Vesta Venus Mars Pluto, and they are all trine the North Node in Taurus. So Taurus rules practical things, sensual things, you know, things that we want to hold on to that are tools or resources. So people will want to make sure they have land and physical assets, tangible assets. I know it's a big crypto thing going on, but you also want to have tangible, practical assets, books, information in case the internet goes down, which I'm really feeling it will. So I'm kind of advising people now. My intuition says that the internet will go down at some point, and you need to be prepared for that. How will you manage without a cell phone? How will you manage without Google? You know, especially for many, many people that That's the only way they know how to exist. So be prepared for that. Now, Saturn at 18 degrees of Aquarius is squaring Uranus widely. I mean, they're getting sort of past that square, but it's still basically there. Juno, the feminine form of genius, the ability to look in all directions, is exactly squaring Uranus at 11, and then Mercury at 19 degrees of Aquarius conjunct Saturn. So this is very serious, sobering, restrictive on Bitcoin. I believe China and I don't know who else has, sanctioned Bitcoin, and I believe that, this is going to happen, or Biden is going to try to sanction Bitcoin, because I think they realize it is something that can get beyond government control, or we will maybe find out who really controls Bitcoin. You never know. It could be the CIA. So again, what's really going on? What the point of all this, I believe, full moon, is to really keep asking yourself, what is really true from my own higher self? What can I access that's true? How do I know what's true? Because you can't trust any outside news. You certainly can't trust mainstream news. Okay. Now, Chiron, the wounded healer in Aries, is conjunct Athena. She's the research goddess. She's the warrior goddess in Aries, and they are squaring Lilith over there at 15 degrees of Cancer. And so again, Lilith is the 13th fairy in some ways, like Eris, at 23 Aries squaring Venus, Mars, Vesta, Pluto. She's the Disturbia goddess, so all of this chaos in the world could be attributed to her, like Uranus is also chaos. So Lilith in Cancer, Lilith was the first woman before Eve. She represents the raw, primal, she's 1/4 of God, she's 1/2 of the feminine aspect of God. There are 2 masculine and 2 feminine aspects, a positive and a negative. Negative is not bad, it's just equal and necessary. Okay, so Lilith in Cancer, because she's associated with menstrual blood, she represents pregnancy in some ways, but also non-pregnancy. So women might be having trouble getting pregnant, and there could be some major problems or difficulties. She represents the aspect of woman that needs to be fully honored as an equal. Lilith never, ever, ever compromises. So she is also trining the sun, the moon, Jupiter, and widely trined by Neptune. So they are supporting her. So Lilith may come into your dreams. She may cause you to have stomach upsets. Lilith in Cancer rules the stomach. Family upsets. You may be seen as the dangerous woman, the scarlet woman, who was heralded in the book of Revelations, actually. So the scarlet woman kind of coming into your dreams. She's very sexual. She's very independent. She's whole and complete inside of herself. So again, Lilith, the archetype of Lilith, might be very strongly appearing in your dreams, and you might see her projected out onto other women. Okay. Again, Athena there. So this is Athena, hardly ever moves. She's been in this square aspect to Pluto since 2020. Again, she's at 23 degrees of Aries. And then the Cosmic Intelligence Agency pointed out, and I just happened to see it today, because we're just at, Russia just invading the Ukraine a couple days ago, that the asteroid Kiev, I don't have its number exactly, but it is conjunct Ceres, which was at 2 degrees just recently, and Putin's moon, I believe, is also at 2 degrees Gemini. So, there's this incredible, I love asteroid astrology, actually, because it's always so literal and so accurate. Okay, so with Ceres there, the great mother, she's the nurturer, but she's also the one who says, when she loses her daughter to Pluto, or Hades in the underworld, she will not let anything grow. So there can be food shortages, okay, because of some kind of big worldwide catastrophe event, another catastrophe, which is part of the bigger plan, one way or the other. Things are just playing according to the playbook. So you need to have food resources, you need to get yourself safely shored up. Of course, the poor people in Ukraine are many hundreds of thousands of them already have left and taken their children to safety across borders, and that all being disrupted. I'm going to look at Ukraine's astrology chart separately, and Putin and all that. But so in Gemini, there's this, again, the dual nature, the communications, again, using your intuition and using the rational mind. So nurturing the dialogues, the talking, keeping things open. Actually, I saw that I think it was the vice president or something of Ukraine appealed to Elon Musk on Twitter that they needed help, and could he help them out with his Starlink satellites, and he launched a bunch, and it was all done within 10 hours. So one billionaire with a heart can help out a big political situation just like that. And that is the new model, okay, the humanitarian model. But we need to have those people that are that wealthy, who are fair, who are here to serve humanity, and that's what Pisces is all about, serving humanity, serving the greater causes. So we're all being called to our own capacity to do that for others. So whatever you can give, Pisces, it's charity. Think about all the children, the moon conjunct the sun, the children, that 30,000 children die every day from starvation. That's like that's way more than people who die of COVID, and so think about those poor children, or the children that are moved or destabilized or separated from their mothers, or any sense of security and safety, right? So we need to really come together as one right now, and this is a kind of a beautiful time to do cleansing with water, or be near water, or gaze at the water, really meditate at the time of the full moon. Full moons generally last while the moon is in the same sign. So the moon will remain in Pisces actually until, the moon remains in Pisces on the 2nd until late on the 3rd. At 7:52 p.m., that's Eastern Standard Time, the moon enters Aries. So you have a kind of a couple of days kind of there, or a day and a half to work with the moon in Pisces. So do pay attention to your dreams. Again, this is going to be an incredibly, like a Pisces Capricorn. It's very feminine energy, receptive energy, earth, water, very receptive there. And then Saturn kind of in between, Saturn kind of Juno actually sort of at a midpoint as well, Saturn, Mercury all together. So stay very grounded, look at things very rationally, very focused. You can be feeling like you're getting overwhelmed by all the water, all the Pisces energy, that sense of feeling everybody's fear and everybody's anger and everybody's everything in the world, all of the emotions. It's like, wow, okay, this is what I came here for. It's like being really washed over by it, right? So Uranus and Taurus as well, giving us a kind of grounding there too, and the North Node in Taurus. So North Node is what we need to follow, where we need to go to. It is conjunct Algol, the most feared star in the sky. That's Medusa, Medusa's head, the blinking star. So she was also a beautiful goddess, and so we want to again retrieve those sense of the projection of the once beautiful goddesses who stood up for their own independence against this patriarchy. We want to honor that energy, okay, and take it back. So this is a time to invest in ourselves with Vesta conjunct Venus. Invest in long-term relationships that are going to last and stand the test of time. So if you want to get in touch with me, I'm at tarot.com. Excuse me, I am going to do a workshop for the second, this workshop's been moved, for the second Venus Mars conjunction at 0 Aquarius on the 5th, March the 5th, 7:30 p.m. live. So if you want to sign up for that, you can do that through my website, tarot.com. You can pay me directly through an e-transfer. It's $33 Canadian through tarotgreentarot@gmail.com. Please follow me on my blog at infinitynow.wordpress.com. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok. And yeah, subscribe to this YouTube channel as well. So stay tuned. I'm just feeling really quite exhausted actually by what's going on in the world. So I'm not managing to put energy out there as much as I'm really finding it quite exhausting. So really do rest. Make sure you eat really well. Nutrition is really important. Listen to your body. Listen to your feelings. That's all we really know. The mind is in there to kind of be the operating system, but really listen to your feelings. Understand that we need to make practical, solid Taurus, North Node energies, boundaries. Boundaries are really important with all this Pisces energy. So wishing you all the best blessings. Thank you.